It's running. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's running. Okay. Hi there. Thanks for tuning in. All that jazz. My name is John Frank Erkman. I'm posting this because I'm kind of hurt and disappointed that I have to post anything like this to begin with. I came from the St. Louis area where St. Louis bred Panera originated. Proud to say, 13 years experience, associate trainer for like 10 of them. My last store was a training facility where I helped train managers that came in from non-Panera restaurant experience with their management, and so I have a lot of experience. I came to the Las Vegas market on good terms, and kind of things went downhill from there, which is why I kind of, with great regret, have to post this in order to find a legal representation, a lawyer to help me civil suit for emotional distress and harassment, and I think ageism, from what I've been told by someone, for Panera and the franchise Desert Flower LLC, run by one Mikkel Miller, and the other people kind of involved in doing this to me are Michael A. Powell, the general manager, and one of the assistant managers, Kim Russo. My two other managers, sympathetic to the insanity and BS that I had to deal with the last 2.5 years, especially in the Las Vegas market at the store in question that I've been at there. I'm not going to mention their names. I have respect for them. We'll get back to that later in that. But basically, I need legal representation. Some guy's paralegal said he needed $200 just to have a consultation with me. Otherwise, I guess he'd get his Porsche repossessed. I don't know. But basically, I'm looking for a lawyer, and I'd like to do a flat 20% or pro bono. Okay? Plus legal fees and court costs, or pro bono. Okay? Because I really don't feel like being screwed. I had a psycho redneck security guard physically assault me over 30 years ago, and I kind of trusted the lawyer a little too much, and I found out years later after the statute of limitations ran out that I could have sued him for legal malpractice. So I'm just saying, we go after these guys. I'd like to be interactive as possible. We have a case. I have a timeline. And I've been treated very unfairly by people representing the company I love. Not the company I love, not Ron Kasich. Hi, Ron. And I never got a chance to meet you, sir, at the Orlando Gardens gatherings we would have back in the 90s. I'm sorry I didn't. You're a hell of a guy. I was planning to do this video before the company got sold. I'm glad they're not going to mess with the vision that you've blessed this world with your St. Louis bred Panera brilliance. So basically, besides looking for a lawyer, I'm still currently unemployed, looking for a job. I am certified in voice talent through Voices for All, masterclass demos. I have not had a chance to set up my home studio through circumstances beyond my control and other things. I also would have done this video sooner upon being terminated in retaliation for ironically going to corporate anonymously to solve the problems that I had. More on that later. But anyway, I don't have a home studio. I'm just kind of like I don't have it set up yet. I kind of don't have the proper computer for it anymore. I also had to deal with the loss of some family members. My great aunt out in Las Vegas here, who was in her late 80s, passed in September. My brother-in-law back east passed middle of January, so I've been a little overwhelmed and distracted here in getting this done. Thankfully, with the help of a good friend here, hi good friend, I'm getting this taken care of. Anyway, so I move out here with 13 years of experience as an associate trainer to Desert Flower LLC. One of my former regionals, she actually helped with my reference. The hiring manager at the store at the time, who's now running another larger store and justifiably deserves it. He's a hell of a guy. My first 6 months there at the location in question in Las Vegas, things were great. I mean, I was just happy to be working, getting a feel for the place, camaraderie, and the hiring manager, after he left, kind of that gung-ho, we're all in this together kind of teamwork attitude kind of dissipated a little bit. basically for like the next 2.5 years, I basically, in spite of being cross-trained like crazy and being an associate trainer, with the exception of 5 days in the course of 2.5 years, I was doing nothing but back of house. For the unenlightened, that's glorified dishwashing, basically. In trying to like be lighthearted about this to my manager, Michael A. Powell, he kind of was, a little dismissive about that, of wanting to work something other than back house, despite my training and my regards to that thing. So anyway, going into 2014, there was the manager that did the schedule, James, kind of restricted me to just 3 days a week, which I thought was a little weird. Plus, we were closing at 9 at the time. Didn't realize till years later that I was working less than 5 hours and still forced to take breaks. So I think I have a case about that. Towards the end of 2014, I did not know James was leaving at the time, but James basically kind of felt I was doing better and was going to do more stuff besides back of house. Unfortunately, he kind of lied to my face and said 2 weeks later I wasn't meeting company standards. And it's like, this is Panera, not Quantico. You're not my drill instructor. This is crazy. I went to Mike Powell and I said, I have a problem with James. That I didn't know James was going to be leaving a week later. Any other manager would have said, hey, John, he's gone in a week. You really want to do this? I'd be like, no, I'd let it slide. Instead, I think I'm going to solve some problems. We have the meeting, and apparently I'm being told that, well, John, you did this and this 3 months ago, and so we don't really want to trust you doing line or dining room. I was like, well, why didn't you tell me I was doing something wrong 3 months ago? Why did you wait? And the circular logic kind of went downhill from there. It was near the holidays. I just kind of left in frustration. Then a week later, finding out James was to another store. I do know his wife was pregnant with his kid at the time, so he had some sympathy pain, and that was kind of distracting him. I could cut him some slack for that, but still, it's kind of, I've never had a manager brazenly lie to my face like that. Panera, especially. So, okay, James isn't there anymore. New year, we start closing an hour later. I start getting more hours. This is good. Going into 2015, in trying to make my case, there was a store a lot closer to me. And I tried to point out to Mike that, if I tried to transfer there from here, it'd be kind of silly if they discovered all I was doing all these months was back of house with all my experience, and just kind of put off that. Sometime later, in 2015, one of the temporary managers we had for like a couple months, he talked us into hiring this girl out of high school who was kind of slow. I mean, I heard her first dining room close. She took like 40 minutes or 90 minutes. I don't know. 40 minutes is bad enough, 90, but she did this for like over a month. Like, she was just very slow. I remember getting bus tubs like up to here, which you're not supposed to stack them up to here, and just having to like be proactive and help bring the stuff back there so I was not, staying excessively long periods of time. So I was like, aha, I've got it. So I went to Mike and I pointed out this, you're letting so-and-so do dining room. And thankfully, after another like month of this, she finally got done in bakery, where she was doing a great job compared to, dining room especially. But she was slow. I mean, sweeping up like a, 6 foot by 20-foot piece of carpet. It's hard to sweep carpet when we didn't have that in that store, but it would take her 40, 50 minutes to do one section of that carpet. I'm like, I've had managers that would have, Panera otherwise, would have let her go in 2 weeks or less for this kind of things. I point this out to Mike, that's an unfair comparison, John. And then just like, okay, put that on hold. So get to the summer of 2015, and I'm kind of finally a little more confident about wanting to get stuff done. Part of a misunderstanding with Kim. Kim Russo's assistant manager. She's nice. Decent sense of humor, gets me a lot of the time. Early 30s, happily married, no kids, all the bills are paid, as she probably declared. So I can understand her, not wanting to rock her own boat. But at the same time, it's like, just kind of, she would have this passive aggressive attitude where, like, basically, if she sees John and John's not moving, John must have been like standing still, or doing tequila shots all this time and not doing his job in the back house. And this passive aggressive stuff, which you just throw on out of nowhere. So anyway, in August, I'm trying to explain stuff to Mike about why I should be put in something other. I mean, Mike, at this point, I was like, just once a week. Once a week, one day, where I'm not doing back of house, okay? That's so damn easy. And I finally, after kind of him trying to manipulate me into thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about, despite my 13 years experience, I'm like, I calmly explained to him my case. And after a pause, he says the following: "And what are you gonna do if I don't?" So, great, I'm dealing with a sociopath now. And then it took me enough courage to kind of confront him like this, I then kind of politely say I would go over to his boss, Mikkel Miller. And that kind of caused him to throw a minor league sociopathic hissy fit. And it was just nuts. And so I kind of walked out of there in frustration, but kind of standing a lot more taller than I did back when I asked him about the slowpoke in dining room. And then I found out less than a week later they were going to, hallelujah, train me. Now, what actually would give me a refresher course, since I had not been doing dining room and line for so long. And then I started hearing the following. Basically, we were having a turnover, bad. We weren't retaining employees. This was the new mantra, basically. And screw the fact that I'm cross-trained, this was the excuse. Not explanation, excuse used to not have me do anything but back of house. The thing is, I never really saw any high turnover because I did pretty much closings all the time, with like 1 or 2 exceptions. Meaning that all the people leaving had to be in the morning, in the afternoon. And who's the manager in charge most of those mornings? Michael A. Powell. Okay? So, this is a newsflash. If anyone at the Panera store of Michael A. Powell is had been hired by him and he left after a couple of days or a week or so because of something or another that Mike may or may not have done, just you get in touch with me, face the comments on YouTube here, and whatever legal representation I will get. So anyway, Ken gets kicked down the road, and finally going into November, I'm like, F this. That's right, it's like 2.5 months, I'm like, nothing's happened, and that's just bizarre, So I